if I give you two options, option number one, you can spend an entire year working on your personality, your confidence, your ability to text women, your understanding of female nature and hypergamy, and even becoming the best pickup artist. Or you can spend an entire year trying to build the leanest, most attractive physique possible. That is possible for you as an individual. Which one would you pick? 99% of men completely neglect the second option as an option at all. And it's genuinely crazy. You have a ton of dating coaches out there who are teaching game, teaching how to text, teaching how to pick up women and, through cold approach. And it's not the thing that actually moves the needle. And I know this because I've spent time on both sides of the spectrum. I have been where the average man is, which is 30 to 40% body fat, overweight, undisciplined, not tracking their calories. And I have now been in a position where I'm 10% body fat, I'm lean, and I have the physique that women are actually attracted to. And I will tell you categorically, you can have some of the worst game, you can have some of the, a very boring, uninteresting personality, and women will just throw themselves at you. The same guy that has to take a girl out on 5-6 dates can be, you can fuck her or, do whatever you want with her within literally 10 to 20 minutes of conversation just by having a lean, attractive, aesthetic physique. Now, this is so powerful, and I would say with great power comes great responsibility. So probably don't go around just being an absolute degenerate. I wouldn't advocate for it, but you need to understand that it is a very powerful tool when you are, someone who has a lean, attractive, and aesthetic physique. That is why I push the message. Now, what needs to be understood is what actually is a lean, attractive, aesthetic physique. You have a ton of guys in the gym, right? I see it every single day. I've spent 8 years in the gym, and all these guys are focused on is building this big mass monster, bulky, big muscle physique. And I was stuck in the exact same trap, which is why I'm actually pretty jacked. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't get jacked, but I would say that I'm probably towards the upper limit of what you actually want in terms of muscle. What you want to do, especially if you're someone who already works out in the gym, is simply focus on getting lean. It is the biggest needle mover. This is why you see in 2026 so many guys stressing, the guys who actually understand the dating game, who actually are on the field and understand what it's like. They push the message that lean is law. Now you have a bunch of dating coaches who are stressing to people, work on your personality, work on your confidence, work on, all of these things that don't move the needle. The reality is that you are never going to get the opportunity to say hello. You are never going to get the opportunity to even get in front of the woman unless she is attracted to you in the first place. 90% of men are meeting women on dating apps or through social media or even through pickup, right? Cold approach. And what is the one thing that women sees or senses before you open your mouth? That is going to be your aura, aka your physique and how you carry yourself. Your confidence, right? This is another thing I want to address. People say, be more confident. Your confidence comes from, doesn't come from thin air. It comes from being a man and having, something to be confident about. And one of the easiest ways that you can actually achieve that is simply by being in fucking great shape. I don't know why people don't realize this. Like I said, people forget that it's even an option. I get so many messages from friends, from some of my clients saying, oh, what could I have said to this girl? What could I have, done here? I get people that message me on Instagram. So what could I have said to this girl that's different? It doesn't matter what you say. In fact, they have done countless experiments where they have a guy, I'll give an example. There's a guy who put on his dating profile that he had, an assault on a woman. And because he was just fucking Chad, because he was in great shape, because he was, was in great fucking physical attraction, women just threw caution to the wind and threw themselves at him. And this is something that you can only understand if you've experienced it. And if you watch some of my other videos, you see in the comment section that guys who actually have the lean, attractive physique, or have gone from, the big, bulky physique down towards the lean, aesthetic physique, they will tell you, when they're walking down the street, women look at them. When they're at work, women finally respect them. On dating apps, they're actually finally getting matches. This is the difference it makes. And the quicker you can realize that this is the thing that moves the needle, the quicker you'll actually address it. And I don't think enough men are actually taking it seriously. I don't think enough men realize that when you just get into peak physical condition, women treat you entirely different. I say this over and over again. It's one rule for one guy and entirely different rules for another. I'm gonna go a bit detailed here. For example, you see these guys who have girlfriends and their girlfriend cheats on them. One of the first things that one of the things I've seen a ton of is like, oh, but you let him do that and you didn't let me. Like I said, it's one rule for one guy. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but it's one rule for one guy and entirely different rules for another. The quicker you realize that you can break pretty much all the rules of dating when you have a lean, attractive physique, the quicker you are going to want to get in shape. I promise you that. And if you are someone who is super serious about getting more dates, getting more respect from women, and building a lean, attractive physique, check the link in the top of the description. You can apply to my coaching. And if you're someone who is serious, we can hop on a call and I can help you out. Now back to the video. If you are the type of man who wants to live the type of life that you see some of these guys that are just genuinely successful with women living, you need to get in peak physical condition. And some of the things that people will advertise to you is you need to get in the gym and you need to build a ton of muscle. I would actually argue that muscle isn't even the biggest fucking thing that women go for. Yes, they've done studies, women want a strong man, but what you should primarily be focused on is a calorie deficit through whole foods. And this is exactly what allowed me to get into my lean physique that I have now. I'll probably prop up a couple of photos on the screen here of the difference that simply eating whole foods made and eating in a calorie deficit. As you can see, it didn't just improve my physique, it improves my facial structure, it improved the quality of my skin, it improved my hair. These are all things that women subconsciously pick up on, genuinely. Now, I would like to preface the fact that I have also spent years and years and years understanding dating, understanding female nature, hypergamy, all of the psychological stuff behind dating. And I have spent years and years and years working on an attractive physique. And I will categorically tell you, if I had to pick one or the other, like I gave you the option in the beginning, I will always and forever pick the physique side of things. Now, I am not saying to neglect the dating side and neglect the psychological side. I'm saying prioritize having a lean physique. If you don't already have a lean, attractive physique, you should pretty much forget about game and dating until you have it, and then you can work on that part. Because I've literally been on the streets and I've seen the difference between how you get treated when you have a lean, aesthetic physique. I've had girls throw themselves at me and me basically put in no effort and me basically be a retard. In fact, I'm actually going to be running some experiments where I just go up to girls and stutter and just see how they treat me. See if I can still get a number by having pretty shit game. And I promise you, I know the results will just be, girls will give me the number, girls will, throw themselves at me, even with the worst game possible. So this should be the number one priority. Again, work on both, but prioritize the lean aesthetic physique. Now I'm going to go into the details of actually how to achieve a lean aesthetic physique, because guys, even though they're in the gym, still completely fuck this part up. And I want to basically go into a bit of a deep dive, probably over the next 5 to 10 minutes, on the exact moves and the exact protocols that I use and I give my clients to get to the best physique possible. Genuinely, this works for pretty much anyone. Obviously, you're going to need to adjust certain things based on your calories and your ability to train, but let's jump straight into it. So the first things first, you need to get lean. And when it comes to getting lean, it is pretty much going to be down to understanding TDEE. That is going to be a total daily energy expenditure. For the average man, they have a basal metabolic rate, which is your ability to burn calories at complete rest. So if you're in a coma, how many calories would you burn? That number can be chucked into a calculator, but for most men, it reads anywhere between sort of 1,700 and 2,000 calories a day. So that gives you your BMR. And then you're going to have calories that are burned through a range of other things, call it non-exercise activity. So exercise or energy that is burned through things that aren't exercise. Think walking, think blinking, think hand gestures, think head movement, think standing up, sitting down. And then you're going to have things that are burned through exercise activity, which is going to the gym, going on a run, anything that is actually dedicated cardio or dedicated energy expenditure through exercise. The final thing is the thermic effect of food. Now, in order to burn calories, or in order to sort of digest food, your body burns calories. So these are the 4 areas in which calories are burned, and that makes up your total daily energy expenditure. It's a little bit complicated. You don't need to fully understand it, but that total number all you need to do, it should, for example, I'll give an example. For me, my total daily energy expenditure is somewhere around 3,000 calories, including my BMR, my thermic effect of food, my TDEE total is 3,000 calories. In order to be in a deficit, all I have to do is eat below that number, right? That is gonna allow me to have excess energy that needs to be burned, and that excess energy is gonna come from body fat. Now, there are ways in which you can make this process so much easier. Number one, avoid hyper-processed foods for multiple reasons. They are super easy to overeat because they are super tasty, they have a ton of calories in them, and they are just full of garbage ingredients that will drive hunger higher. So what should you eat if you're not eating, processed garbage? You want to be eating whole foods. Think meat, eggs, fish, chicken, some vegetables, not cruciferous ones, dairy products like yogurt, Greek yogurt, things that are very simple, things that are very fulfilling, things that are slightly lower calorie but better macros and better micronutrients. Those are all, I have a list of like 8 or 9 whole foods that I focus on when I'm trying to get into the best shape possible. But these are the foods you should focus on because they're highly satiating. They are going to make you feel very full for not very many calories. And that's going to allow your deficit to be easier to maintain. Additional to those things, you also get better health benefits of it. You're going to have better, healthier skin. You're going to have better, healthier hair. You're going to have better and healthier, more sustainable energy. So you can actually go into the gym and, work hard and get the muscle that you want to get. All of these things should be within your calories, but you need to make sure that you're actually also eating the right macronutrients. That's going to be the proteins, the fats, and the carbohydrates. Now, I didn't really speak about carbohydrates, but they're going to be your energy source. Think potatoes, sweet potatoes, rice. Those are your whole food carbohydrates. Your fats are going to come from things like your oils, your butter, your eggs. You kind of want to keep the fats in a stable place, right? You don't want to drop your fats super low. Fats aren't always bad, especially saturated fats. You want to make sure your saturated fats are high. This is what's going to nurture your hormones, nurture your thyroid, so your metabolism is still high and you're actually burning calories at rest. And then your protein. Protein is going to be the thing that allows you to build and pack on muscle, but also maintain muscle even when you're in a deficit. So even though you're eating less food, your body's not going to go for your muscle. It's going to prioritize fat as long as you're eating a reasonable amount of protein, right? This can be all chucked into a calculator, or if you want me to help you calculate your macros, you can click the link in the bio, apply to my coaching, and I can help you build out a structure and get into the lean, attractive physique so you can start to attract women successfully. But back to the video. So you want to make sure that your nutrition is dialed in. This is going to be the major needle mover in order to build a lean, attractive physique. Now, alongside that, you need to have a sustainable but a specific training regime, a training program. For the average person, I would always say to train between 3 and 5 days a week. You can get away with training 2 days a week, but it's not going to give you optimal results. And you can train 6 days a week, but I would argue you're probably wasting a bit more time in the gym. So I always say between the 3 and 5 days per week is the sweet spot. Now, the sort of fundamental rules I focus on when it comes to training in the gym are sort of these 2 rules. Number 1, you need to hit every single muscle group twice per week. Training 3 to 5 days will allow you to do that. And the second rule is you need to be pushing to very close proximity of failure. That's going to allow you to maintain or build muscle when you're in a deficit. If you've been training for a lot longer, you're going to understand that, you can't build a ton of muscle, so you're going to be focusing on muscle maintaining. And if you're sort of new to the gym, you are still going to be able to build a ton of muscle in a deficit. So you should work on both. That is what is called body recomposition, building muscle and burning fat at the same time. 2 in unison can be done when you are lower, sort of earlier in the days of training. If you were in the later days of training and you've been training for, maybe 5, 6, 7 years like myself, you have to focus on one thing at a time, which is, burning fat or gaining muscle. Now, when it comes to training and pushing to failure in the gym, the main thing that I prescribe is actually training in the rep range of 6 to 8 reps. The least amount of reps you should do is like 5, maybe 4, but ideally 6. And the most amount of reps you should do is 8 reps. If you're going over 8 reps, simply increase the weight. That's going to allow you to hit the intensity and proximity to failure to allow you to build or maintain muscle while in a deficit and burning fat. Now that you've understood the diet protocol, now that you've understood the training protocol and the rules you should follow within those parameters, The next thing you need to focus on is your recovery. So many people overcomplicate recovery. They're like, should I be doing sauna? Should I be doing ice baths? Should I be doing stretching? Should I be doing, Pilates? And should I be doing this? If you have the ability to do those things and you have the time, yes, but they are not going to be the things that actually allow you to get a lean, attractive physique that will allow you to attract women. What you need to focus on is your sleep. And so many people don't know why, so I'm about to explain it to you for two reasons. It affects your sleeping habits will affect your diet and will affect your training, either positive or negative. So the way in which sleeping can affect your diet in a negative way is it can drive your hunger hormones crazy. When you don't get enough rest, your ghrelin becomes high, which means you're hungrier all the time, and your leptin becomes low, which means whatever you do eat, you don't become satiated. This is going to make it so much harder to actually maintain a deficit when you are in one if you're not getting enough sleep. And when you are getting enough sleep, your ghrelin and your leptin levels are accurate and well sustained. So when you eat in deficit, you're not going to get the same hunger, and it's going to be so much easier to maintain a deficit over a long period of time when your sleep is on point. Now, when it comes to training, sleep will do the same thing. If you are getting good sleep, your training will be better. You'll have more energy. You'll be able to push yourself to failure. You'll be able to hit those intensity markers much better. And therefore, you'll be able to maintain, if not gain muscle, even in a deficit once you get those things on point. Now, when it comes to not getting enough sleep in your training quality will go down. You won't be able to progressively overload. You won't be able to push your body to failure in the gym each week, and therefore you risk losing muscle. Additional to the fact that your body will actually start to burn muscle if it doesn't think it's getting enough rest. So what should you do? You need to be making sure that your sleep is not only between 7 to 9 hours, but it's also quality sleep. That means you shouldn't really be eating food before bed. You shouldn't really be looking at screens or wear blue light blockers so your quality of sleep is good. Or you can take things like certain tablets. I personally eat grapes because they're high in melatonin, but you can take melatonin tablets, or you can take magnesium glycinate, which is going to improve the quality of your sleep. That's all you need to do. Sleep is the most fundamental form of recovery. If it means that you sacrifice sauna and sacrifice other forms of recovery, focus on sleep. This is what's going to allow you to maintain a deficit, get in good shape, and have an attractive physique. Now, let's just say you've done all the right stuff and you're finally getting to a good, attractive physique and you finally got there. Why should you maintain it? Why should you not fuck it up and go and throw it in the bin? Well, once you get there, you're going to start to realize all the things that I mentioned in the beginning of the video, which was you're going to start getting treated better by women. You're going to get way more matches on dating sites. You're going to get way more attention from women in public. This is going to be the main motivator as to why you maintain it. And this is why it's so easy for me to maintain it. Me to maintain a aesthetic, lean physique is because I will never, ever go back to being a fat chud because I don't want to sacrifice the benefits that it has. And that drives me so much to maintain a lean physique. And it was what will actually drive you to maintain it as well. But once you have achieved your lean physique, you can up your calories, you can sort of chill a little bit, but you need to be super aware that you don't just bounce back to where you are, because so many guys will go through a diet phase and then the second that they're like, oh, I've completed the diet, I've got my physique now, they rebound and they bounce all that weight back on and then they lose all the benefits that I just discussed. But once you get there, it is far easier to maintain. I will say that it's far easier to maintain because number one, you know how to maintain it, or you know how to get there again if you ever do bounce back, but maintaining it is simply adding back the calories that you subtracted and making sure that you just weigh yourself regularly and don't gain that weight back. If you are someone who wants to build a lean, aesthetic, attractive physique, check the link in my bio, work with me one-on-one. You can apply, you can book a call directly with the link in the bio as well. So you can actually build a lean, attractive, aesthetic physique and get in the best shape of your life. Again, lean is law. It will change so much for your dating life. It will change so much for how women treat you. It will change your confidence. It will change pretty much every aspect of life for the better. Once you understand this, you will never go back. But yes, give me a subscribe. Go check my Instagram out as well. If there's any questions, ask them in the comment section, or just directly DM me on Instagram, Zaki Thor. All links will be in the description. Check them out. If you've got any other video ideas, send them my way, and peace out, guys.